For another update. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here today. And like I said in my previous videos, Bitcoin has rallied up to the 88.6% fib at 105,397, and we did stall out and then trade sideways for a little bit over a week. As you guys can see here, we have been trading sideways within this range, and if we take a little bit of a closer look, you can see that last week's candle closed as a bearish hammer. This is what it looks like. So this is your hanging man candle. You can also call it a bearish hammer. And then you can see that this week's candle swept the high of the previous week, of the high of the previous week. So you see how this week's candle, it swept this high. So now what we would be targeting is the lows of the previous week. And we may sweep it towards the 23.6% fib. So our draw on liquidity would be this 23.6% fib right over here at 99,306. Okay, so what you may see is a sweep of the previous week's lows sitting at 100,773, and then your draw on liquidity would be right here at 99,345. So you may sweep that low towards the 23.6% fib and then retract back into the range. And the 23.6% fib is right where the 21-day moving average is. So taking a look here at the 21-day moving average, you see how it's right above the 23.6% fib there. So you may sweep or you may tap into this region and then retract back into the range, back towards 103,893. And I would say worst case scenario, we would come down to the 50-day moving average just above the 50% fib, sitting at 90,787. If we get a 4-hour close or even a daily close below 99,345, then it's likely that we're going to come down to the 38.2% fib. And like I said, worst case scenario would be that we come down to the 50% fib or 50-day moving average right over here. Something I've also noticed on the daily time frame is that we do have bearish divergence, and the RSI has reached into overbought conditions. So you see how you have a higher high here, right, on the daily, but then a lower high on the RSI. Okay, so that's something to be mindful of. And like I was saying in my previous videos, we may form a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders pattern where this is your left shoulder, this is your head, and then you come down for your right shoulder, and then this over here would be your neckline right over here, and then we would be targeting around 120 to 130,000, taking a fib from this high in December, in January, down to this low in April. This would be the high that we're targeting, or the fib that we're targeting, 130,000. We can also take a look at the 1.382 and the 1.236. So 117, 122, and 130K. That's the level we would be targeting once you get a 4-hour push above this level right here. So in order to invalidate this move down, what I would want to see here going forward is just a 4-hour push above this level right here, like right over here. So if we can get a 4-hour push above 105,767, then we can invalidate this move down that we're talking about, and then we can go ahead and attack the January and December highs right over here. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the Bitcoin video. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Peace out and take it easy. See you guys in the next one.